It is all around us. Even now, in this very room. You can see it when you look out your window or when you turn on your television. You can feel it when you go to work, when you go to church, when you pay your taxes. It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth. What truth? That you are a slave, Neo. Like everyone else, you were born into bondage, born into a prison that you cannot smell or taste or touch. A prison for your mind. Unfortunately, no one can be told what the Matrix is. You have to see it for yourself. This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
Looking for a fast way to track what's moving online right now? Head over to Qnotables.com. It's a centralized index of notable clips, headlines, and references being shared across the community, organized for quick browsing. Use it to spot patterns, pull links, and build your own research list. Qnotables.com. Browse the notables, verify the facts, stay informed. From the Q Research Board's February 11, 2026, documents circulating in the latest Epstein file chatter include a crude handwritten note describing the sexual exploitation of young women. The document is now being cited as another example of the predatory language that appears across parts of the Epstein record set. A Zorro Ranch document is circulating in the Epstein file discussions, referencing horses and ranch operations tied to Epstein's New Mexico property. The material is being shared as part of the wider effort to map locations, logistics, and activity connected to Epstein's network. An Epstein email dated September 6, 2012 is circulating again, and users are treating it as a key timestamp inside the broader communications trail. The email is being reposted as audiences comb through archived messages looking for names, context, and connections. A line in circulating Epstein documents referencing Bidan and a 2019 firing squad is being reposted heavily. The phrasing is spreading as part of the wider pattern of disturbing, provocative, and politically charged notes that appear in the document ecosystem. A large compiled collection labeled Videos from the Epstein Files is spreading across platforms alongside guides showing how to access, catalog, and archive the material. The push is driving a new surge in traffic as viewers attempt to map what exists and who appears in it. Posts attributed to Peter Romas Roth are trending again, featuring unusual wording and message formatting, including discussion of using an equal sign inside words. The posts are being circulated as part of a broader online effort to identify patterns, coded language, and unusual communication styles inside Epstein-adjacent circles. A separate viral post tied to Kimball Musk is being recirculated, describing fundraising to support over 2,000 children and expand learning gardens in Los Angeles schools. The post is being pulled into the current debate over stylized formatting and hidden meaning in public-facing messages. A PDF described as Clearing Teams for Little St. James is circulating, framed as a logistical document connected to the island. The file is being shared as audiences focus on operational details tied to Epstein-controlled locations. Another document being reposted describes mandatory security rounds every 30 minutes during Epstein's jail custody period, with unusual religious phrasing attached to the instruction. The screenshot is spreading as renewed scrutiny hits custody procedures and how they were enforced. A message labeled "Roth to Epstein" is circulating in the same cluster of posts, being framed as another link in the contact chain. The item is spreading as users attempt to line up communications and timelines. A 2018 proposal document describing fiber upgrades and an underwater connection between Little St. James and Great St. James is being shared widely. The post includes marked manhole locations and is being framed as infrastructure expansion tied to island operations. A claim labeled "Missing Epstein jail footage found in the files" is spreading fast, driving renewed focus on surveillance gaps, retention policies, and chain of custody questions. The phrase is trending as audiences demand clarity on what exists and what was lost. In the case involving missing Nancy Guthrie, reporting says a person of interest was detained during a traffic stop near the U.S.-Mexico border. Reporting also says investigators sought a search warrant tied to a residence in Rio Rico, and reporter Brian Enton says the detained man's mother-in-law claims investigators seized electronic devices during the search.
At shop.isitwaya.com, everything you buy supports Acun.top, the place where people talk freely no matter what. Check out our Acun Honey Pot, a jar of yummy honey that's as strong as your voice. Put it on toaster and tea. It's not just honey, it's freedom in every bite. Then there's Acun Butter, a smooth handmade skin cream that makes you feel good while you fight for what's right. Awesome wood and pieces for display only. Hang them up or set them out. They're for showing off Acun's tough spirit. Want to help even more? Get a proto membership. So go to shop.isitwaya.com now and grab some goodies. Help Acun.top keep free speech alive, and let's keep the ideas flowing loud and free.
All reports can be found on Q Research or Qnotables.com. Notables do not equal endorsements. We are researchers who deal in open source information, reasoned argument, and dank memes. We do battle in the sphere of ideas and ideas only. We neither need nor condone the use of force in our work here.
From the Q Research Board's February 11, 2026, reporting out of Tucson says the Nancy Guthrie investigation has also included friction between federal and local agencies, with disputes over investigative control and access to surveillance footage. The conflict is becoming part of the public storyline surrounding the case. In British Columbia, authorities say a mass shooting in Tumbler Ridge left 10 people dead, including the suspect, with multiple victims found at a high school and additional victims at a connected location. The incident triggered a major emergency response and national shock in Canada. A Q-style post circulating again repeats the line, "Misspellings matter," and is being reposted as users argue spelling and formatting are intentional signals. The phrase is being used as part of a broader decoding narrative online. A new round of posts is pushing a Bill Maher reconciliation angle, arguing that mainstream commentary is shifting tone on Epstein file discussions. The clips are being shared as evidence of changing media posture as pressure builds. Federal court filings tied to the Fulton County election warehouse search have been unsealed, including an affidavit describing the basis for the FBI's action. Reporting says the filing references witness testimony and claims that some 2020 ballots bore unique markings suggesting duplication, reigniting a major national fight over election records and investigative authority. In Southern California, a man has been sentenced to 118 years in prison for rape and child molestation involving multiple victims. Prosecutors highlighted the length of the sentence as reflecting the severity and number of offenses. The watchdog account APAC Tracker says Instagram suspended its account, which it says had more than 137,000 followers. The suspension is being framed online as a censorship battle over political spending transparency. A grand jury in Washington, D.C. declined to indict 6 Democratic lawmakers after a Justice Department push tied to a video urging service members to refuse illegal orders. The decision is now being cited as a major legal and political setback for the prosecution effort. In Cleveland, police are investigating a second Lyft driver being fatally shot within 3 days, intensifying concerns for rideshare driver safety. Detectives are working the cases as community pressure grows for arrests. A Department of War CTO account is pushing a message about scaling hypersonics for victory, framing it as a modernization drive and a strategic priority. The messaging is spreading as part of a broader defense technology acceleration narrative. Alphabet is moving forward with major borrowing tied to its AI build-out, including plans for an ultra-long 100-year bond and a broader multi-tranche debt package. The move underscores how aggressively major tech firms are financing data centers and AI infrastructure. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has arrived in Washington, D.C. ahead of a high-level meeting with President Trump. The visit is being framed as urgent, with regional security and diplomacy at the center of the agenda. A claim of a Democratic vote flip in Oklahoma is spreading online, triggering a wave of demands for receipts, audit detail, and official explanation. The story is moving fast across political channels as users argue over legitimacy and process. In Australia, Victoria Police have been granted special powers under terrorism legislation ahead of Israeli President Isaac Herzog's visit to Melbourne. The court-approved measures expand stop, search, and identification authority in designated areas as major protests are expected.
Every voice matters. The power of free speech is more important than ever. Imagine a place where you can share your thoughts freely, explore new ideas, and engage in meaningful conversations anonymously. With online anonymity, you can express yourself without fear of judgment. It's about freedom, creativity, and connection. Join the conversation that matters. Embrace your voice. Celebrate your freedom. Visit 8kun.top today. That's 8kun.top.
All reports can be found on Q Research or Qnotables.com. Notables do not equal endorsements. We are researchers who deal in open-source information, reasoned argument, and dank memes. We do battle in the sphere of ideas and ideas only. We neither need nor condone the use of force in our work here.
From the Q Research Board's February 11, 2026. Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt briefed reporters on Tuesday, February 10, 2026, taking questions on immigration enforcement, DHS funding, and the administration's Defense of Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick. During the briefing, Leavitt reiterated that illegal aliens are subject to deportation, emphasized a priority on convicted criminals, and read out a list of what she called recent Trump administration wins. Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer held a briefing after Democratic lawmakers rejected a White House counteroffer tied to ICE-related demands. The standoff is being framed as a high-pressure negotiation over enforcement policy, funding leverage, and the next steps on DHS spending. Customs and Border Protection says more than 134 acres near Rio Grande City, Texas, described as being used by a cartel for smuggling, has been seized and taken out of cartel control. The agency says arrests were made and the land and equipment were taken as part of enforcement actions. House Judiciary content labeled Sharia-Free America is being promoted online, with supporters framing it as a legislative and oversight theme tied to national identity and immigration concerns. The branding is spreading as part of the larger congressional messaging war. Senator Susan Collins announced she is running for re-election, setting up a major 2026 Senate battleground in Maine. The race is being framed nationally as pivotal for control of the chamber. The fight over the SAVE Act escalated after Senator Lisa Murkowski publicly rejected the bill, while Senator Elizabeth Warren argued it would create obstacles for voters, especially married women who changed their names. The clash is intensifying as the bill becomes a central election policy fight line heading into 2026. Senator Yoni Ernst has cited audit findings that IRS employees owe roughly $50 million in unpaid taxes. The claim is spreading as a major credibility attack on the agency as it continues expanding enforcement and compliance operations. A story is spreading about an aide connected to Mayor Zoran Mamdani, based on resurfaced posts criticizing white civility, white politeness, and white women behavior. The posts are being used as ammunition in ongoing city-level political warfare. Video circulated by James O'Keefe claims former Project Veritas board member Matthew Tyrmand described himself as an FBI and SDNY informant and made violent threats toward O'Keefe. The clip is spreading rapidly as a major escalation inside conservative media infighting. A Space Center Houston rescue operation report circulated after power outages were reported near the area during an emergency response. Local reporting described crews working an incident involving a trapped person and a successful rescue. In Sarasota County, Florida, deputies responded to a home where multiple people were found dead from gunshot wounds. The sheriff's office described the scene as an isolated incident and says there is no ongoing threat to the public. Joe Rogan addressed Epstein file chatter involving his name, describing an incident where a past guest allegedly tried to introduce him to Epstein. Rogan said he rejected it immediately, and the comments are now being clipped and reposted widely. U.S. Envoy Matthew Whitaker has been quoted saying Washington wants European NATO member states to become less reliant on the United States. The remarks are landing as part of a broader push for burden sharing and shifting U.S. strategic focus. In South Korea, a local official is facing intense backlash after remarks about importing virgins as a response to population decline. South Korean reporting describes apologies, party discipline, and national outrage over the comments.
Don'tDeleteMeBro.com. 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 Share the site with others. Don'tDeleteMeBro.com. 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 Share the site with others. Don'tDeleteMeBro.com.
That's all for now. Stay alert, stay informed, and never hand your thinking over to anyone on a screen, including me. God bless you, God bless our troops, and God bless the United States of America. See you.